How is it going, folks? Welcome back to Park to Prem. Today is episode number 40. How are we at 40 already? Is season 7? It is. I know you said 8. No, it's definitely season 7 today. It is a new year. It is our third season in the bloomin' Vanarama National League. And I am concerned, if I don't get out of this division this year, I may never get out of it. We might be here forever. Pre-season prediction is the best it has ever been. We are predicted to finish 10th place. Of course, last year, we finished 2nd in the league. We had a great season in the league. We are going to want to go one step further today. An interesting set of games to start things. I would love to leave today with 3 wins in 3. Let's try and make that happen, shall we? Now, of course, yesterday we did have a transfer special. If you didn't see that, please do go check that out before we get into things today. And of course, first things first, let's just talk about the transfers that we've done, because there was a few that went on. I appreciate not everyone has time for the longer videos. So to cover the outs first and foremost, Christopher Wu left us to go to Red Star for £115,000. Teo left for £9,000. Most of these backup players, really. Valentin left on a free. And the final of the departures was Will Merry, in the final year of his contract, announced he wanted to leave the club, a player who I feel like we've outgrown at this point. We have better backups than him. He was perhaps slightly overpaid, maybe a bit disappointing to only get £5,000, but so yeah, not the worst sale in the world, I don't think. Of course, on the ins, we did sign Scottish international once upon a time, Lewis Ferguson, a player who's had a rather bizarre decline in this save game, had a long spell in Italy, last year was playing in the second tier of Scotland where he didn't have the best of years. I'm going to hope that he is up to our standards as a backup player, someone who can play anywhere down the middle, super consistent, loves big matches, great determination is always nice. He is one of the more experienced players in the team. On the flip side, Slimani, one of the less so. 19 years old, the Algerian youngster, formerly of Montpellier, was playing with their second team, has joined us on a 5-year deal to 2033. I think this guy could be a really, really good long-term centre-mid option for us at 19. He is hopefully going to be a creative spark on off the bench. Elsewhere, of course, we signed the Scot Wooly Muir, the mammoth, I think I'm going to call him because he's woolly. This man is a backup goalkeeper. If he makes an appearance and makes some saves, he's done his job. Trey George, another backup that we've managed to pick up, a player who I did have to promise would be a star player, a player who I do intend to give a shot in the first team to, think he could be a very good striker and a bit of an alternative to Yor and Brandon Charles. We really lacked a goal-scoring, attacking threat on off the bench. I'm hoping Trey's going to be that man. And in those wider areas, we were lacking a little bit of depth. We've picked up Christian Opoku, this man, a Ghanaian youth international on £40 a week, really, really cheap, but actually a surprisingly good player to the point where since last episode, I have now actually promoted him to the first team. Can play left back, but really for us, he is going to be a versatile backup option in the wide attacking mid positions. And the final signing, a new one today. This man didn't join us last episode, so a new face for everyone. Aidan Wilson, a new starting centre-back, 19 years old. This man has 14 passing, which makes me rather excited. A very, very well-rounded player. The kind of player who doesn't really have an obvious standout strength, but with the exception of his concentration and decisions, I don't think he's got an obvious weakness either. He is going to start our first game of the season today. Now, to look at how we are going to line up to start the season, at least for our first game, which is against Boreham Wood, this is the team we're going to go with. Wilson, the one new addition to the team. The rest of the 11 is players who played in that playoff final and started that game. Truth be told, over the summer, we didn't add a whole load of new faces. We added a bit of options and a bit more strength, I suppose, on the bench. And depth was really what was needed. I don't feel like we lacked quality last year. I did see people mentioning in the comments about the fact that maybe defensively, we needed to tighten things up. Truth be told, at this level, in the current Football Manager match engine, you can't really stop goals happening. It doesn't matter how good your players are, they just seem to happen. So I feel like the best kind of way to operate is to just try and score more than other people. Obviously, Dagenham and Redbridge tried to do that themselves. They got promoted. They had a worse defensive record than us last year, albeit ours really wasn't great either. And whilst I would like to shore things up defensively, I think if we want to make it out this division, we are better off sticking with the things we know as opposed to what we tried last year. Now, the only game of the season is against Boreham Wood. They are a side currently predicted to finish 18th as we sit here at the start of the season, so a team that we really should be winning against. After them, we are going to take on South Shields, who we've not played, I don't believe, in a game in a live episode yet. They're predicted to be in 21st, so another game that I really expect us to win. And our final game today, perhaps the most difficult, is against newly promoted Torquay. They have some real quality. I feel like when they got relegated, they went down as one of the better teams in the division that probably shouldn't have been relegated. They've come back up immediately. Suspect they're going to have a point to prove when we play them away. Just to look at the board expectation for this season, despite finishing second last year, they want a mid-table finish. That is very much the worst case scenario as far as I'm concerned. I want to get out the division this year. I want to be fighting at the top. We have got a lot of money in the overall bank balance. I haven't decided to sell that Scott Williams clause. I would love to take the club professional, but I don't have the option to request it at the moment after it was declined towards the end of last season. And obviously with our current predicament, we're a semi-pro club. There's not many players who will leave professional clubs to join us, and equally, we're a small island off the coast of France, so there's very few players based on mainland England, with the exception of players on the south coast, who will actually join us on semi-pro deals. So our pool of players available is rather small. I do feel like as we sit here to start this year, we have the best team that I could possibly have at this moment in time with this set of players. Of course, like I discussed last episode, there is room to bring in new players, and I think we will bring in new players throughout this season. Anyway, Boreham Wood is up first. You might have noticed this is an away day, but we've already done Boreham Wood away. It was the game where there was the trolley outside the stadium. What did the trolley have in it? It was a trolley with something in it, and I can't remember what... Was it an office chair in a trolley? Either way, it was a mad day out. If you missed that episode, I don't know what number it was. You should go watch it. We're taking them on to start this season, and of course, we are coming in off the back of a pre-season where we got battered by a lot of bigger teams, but we did ultimately help out our finances. We did end our pre-season with a game against our under-21s, which thankfully we did win. You might notice when it comes to this team selection, Gibua and Benjamin still in the 11. Gibua, no one wants him. Think we're probably just going to lose him on a free at the end of the year, to be honest. And Benjamin, you might remember, I declined that offer from Carlisle. He was not happy about that, but he proved himself last year as a reliable player at this level, and at least to start the season, I'm going to keep some trust in him. Okay, first game of the season, no experimentation this time around. I do fear that last year, when we tried to play that 4-2-3-1, maybe that did cost us the title ultimately. So I'm coming out, we're playing the 4-2-4. We're going to hope it works in our favour today as Falbo is going to get it towards Brandon Charles, who's going to win the header. Of course, Brandon Charles, top goal scorer in the league last year. Not sure we can expect quite the same output from him, but if he wants to score another 40 or so goals, I would be okay with that. Okay, goal kick for us. McDonald going long towards Yar, who, well, I'd back to win the ball in the air. Didn't look like he was interested in winning the ball. And now it's Paul Glatzel, who has definitely scored against us before, going through. Fortunately, he was offside. You guys have a better memory than me. What save game did I have Paul Glatzel in? Someone will know out there. Answers on a postcard. Former Liverpool youth team player. Very, very good player in FM. Very, very good player for this level. Someone who we have to be wary of, I think. Already down to the last 10 minutes of this first half. It's not really been a classic. I suppose as the away team today, maybe I should be more accepting of a draw, but I am striving for perfection. I want to win every game that we can, and I'll tell you what, based on whatever the dickens that was that I've just watched there, maybe I should temper my expectations. Maybe the board are right with a mid-table finish. We've still got a corner to deal with now. It's Murray over it. He's going to whip it in. Howland is under it, but it is headed away from danger, and with 5 minutes left of the half, I would quite like to get the players in and get a bit shouty. Half-time, 0-0. Not really been a classic. That one really good opportunity for them. I am going to tell the players that I think they can improve in the second half. I've got a faith in you lot. Go out there and prove it. And I am actually going to change just one little thing here. We are going to go to our standard change that we did a lot last year. We are going to go more direct, get it to the flanks that little bit quicker. And I do feel like with our current kind of set of players, this is a way that we can easily adapt to play, especially with Wilson with 14 passing now coming into the team. Both our centre-backs possess some really good passing range, and well, we've been given a penalty. It's one of those weird Football Manager penalties where I didn't see anything happen, but I'm not going to complain. And you might notice Brandon Charles is not over the penalty after he missed that one previously to end last season. I've hauled him off them. I've put Falbo on them. And the Italian Stallion has opened up his account for the season on that wonderful effort of his into, well, I'll generously call it the bottom corner. Doesn't matter how it's gone in. It's hit the back of the net. I don't care. Throwing on the far side, Boreham Wood might feel a little hard done by to be a goal down in this game. I'm sure they are going to look to bring the ball forward and maybe cause us issues here. Mellor in a dangerous area, gives it wide to Spillane. Glatzel on the volley on his weaker foot. And that was not far wide. Okay, now I played here. I was about to make some changes, but we'll let Hanusek take a free kick first. It's gone just over. Just looking at things here, not a great performance by Perner. I'm going to take him off and bring in Morgan Williams, who is one of our options on the bench. Brandon Charles has not played amazing. Do you know what? Trey George, Onyekum, and Kubua's on a booking. I don't like it. Lewis Ferguson, the Scot, is going to come on for his debut. And knowing that Kubua won't be with us next season, I do feel like over the course of this year, it's probably in my interest to integrate Lewis Ferguson as much as we can. Throwing on this near side, McGuinness at right back. One of the long-term servants of this club, a player who I don't sing the praises of nearly enough. Conte lays it to Morgan Williams, and I want to claim genius for the super sub. Moving Morgan Williams to left back. Of course, he is a right-footed centre-back ordinarily, but he can play left back. And while on his wand of a right foot, I want to say he smashed it home. Describing that as a smash might be a tad generous. I mean, it's placed well. Conte got the assist as well. Just as a little reminder, he set the record for Vanarama national assists in a season last year. So he's got another one to add to his collection very early on this year. And suddenly, we're 2 goals up off the back of what was, let's be honest, a disappointing first half. And we're looking rather good, he says as Paul Glatzel gets the ball and our centre-back misses a header. Benjamin's just fouled a man off the ball. Benjamin, what are we doing? What are you doing? I'm just glad nothing's come of it. Okay, you know what? Not long left in this game here. I'm just going to tell the players to go a bit shorter, not quite play as wide, and we'll do it. We'll do the time wasting. You know I don't like doing it, but I think this is the kind of game where maybe just trying to see out the game. Well, I was going to say it's in our interest, but now a highlight's begun, and I'm now sat thinking, why did I change anything? Murray crosses it in, and Molu scored. You know what? I'm going to cancel all the changes I've just done. I'm reverting. More direct, higher tempo. We'll keep the time wasting on. We'll stay wider, and I'll go back to attacking. I don't think the positive change even came into effect. Okay, 4 minutes plus added time. Let's be honest, it's a little bit of squeaky bum time here, but I'm just going to stare in the top left and hope that the time keeps going forward. Please keep going forward. 2 minutes left. Are we about to hold? They've got a corner. Murray's over it, whipping it in. McDonald's dropped the ball, and it's in the back of the net. Just one normal episode where nothing weird happens. That's all I'm asking for. All I want is one normal day in Park to Prem. I feel like I've turned into Antonio Conte. McDonald's dropped the ball, hasn't he, that? Can we get him investigated for match fixing? I know he's been here a while, but you can't be too careful. I mean, well done, Boreham Wood. You've got a 2-2 draw. I mean, on the face of it, we probably deserved a draw at most. But given the nature of the way in which we've just lost that game, I am rather annoyed. You know what? Boreham Wood, they're a team predicted to finish mid-table. That's our prediction as well. So maybe 2-2 away isn't the worst result in the world. Chesterfield, who I expect to be very good this year, have won their first game of the season 5-2. Incidentally, they have beaten South Shields, who are our next opposition. We take them on in 7 days' time. Looking forward to it. A chance to bounce back. First home game of the season. Oh, I really hope we win. If we have another start like last year, I am going to be sad. Okay, game number 2 today, South Shields. They are a team that play very far in the north of England. They've had a long way to come to play us. Maybe they'll be jet-lagged or something. That would be convenient. I'm not sure you get jet-lagged flying south, though. The time zone's the same. I digress. They're bottom. They're in 24th. Now, yeah, they've played one game. But if we want to be as good as Chesterfield, we need to beat them by 3 goals like Chesterfield did. And for today's game, I am rotating things a little bit. There's a couple of players that I want to try out and see how do they get on. One of them is Morgan Williams, who of course scored last game from left back, was a long-term centre-back player for us over the last couple of years. He's going to slot in back in at centre-back, and we're going to see how he gets on. Elsewhere, new look midfield, Slimani is going to play as a deep-line playmaker. Now, defensively, he's not a very good defensive deep line playmaker, which does raise some concerns with 2 marking and 2 tackling. But in past FMs, I have been able to get away with deep line playmakers that can't defend. And Ferguson is also going to come in for this game over Gibua because of what I mentioned last match. Really, if Gibua isn't going to be around from next season onwards, it'd be good to know, do I have a player that can do the Gibua thing before he's gone? Lewis Ferguson feels like the ready-made fit. So a couple of rotation changes made for this game. Naturally, South Shields are one of the lesser teams in the league, predicted to finish in the drop zone, so I do feel a bit more comfortable doing this. It's still very early on in the season to be rotating things, so naturally, I am a little nervous about this one. Like I alluded to pre-game, I would quite like to beat South Shields by a few goals. That would make me feel better, especially after that last game where we did blow a 2-goal lead. We were away from home, so let's cut ourselves some slack. Also, in first game of the season, bit of rustiness, not match fit yet or something. I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned by the fact that nothing's happened in the first 20 minutes. But good news, we are having a lot of the ball, and they've not had a shot yet. You can see from the average positions as well, we are having the ball way higher up the pitch. We're having a lot of it, but we're also penning them back when we do have it. South Shields looking to defend rather deep. That does make it difficult for us to get in behind, I suppose, which is always one of our game plans. And it does perhaps leave us susceptible to them doing something like this. Clark forward, Perner puts in a tackle, then forgets about the ball, and Ashley Clark scores to make it 1-0. Now, there is one thing in the current Football Manager match engine that irks me quite a lot. And it's the way that defensive lines never seem to track the striker. You'll often find your two centre-backs playing further up the pitch than the wing-backs. And it happens quite often at this level. It's happened there. I did think for a moment Perner was going to come to the rescue. And then I remembered it's Perner. And he gave the ball straight back to them. We're a goal down. Now they've got a free kick. Purcell over it, whipping it back post. We've got no one there. It's hit the outside the post. You know what? We're having a lot of the ball and not doing anything with it. I'm making the change early today. Some people are probably wondering, Jack, why don't you play this alternative system that you always switch to from the start of games? It's a valid question. I am starting to wonder it myself. Okay, at the break, we're a goal down. Certainly less than ideal. We started off the half so well and we have fizzled out into absolutely, just rubbishness. I'm going to make a change here. Slimani, who can't defend, is on a booking on his debut. That is a risk I'm not willing to take. Hanusek, on you come. Besides that, I'm not going to make any more changes at half-time. I know some people probably last game winced a little bit when I made a triple sub after 60 minutes because, you run the risk of injuries, leaving you down a man. I don't want to make quite as many changes all at once today, especially at half-time, but we do need to be better in this second half. Okay, an hour played here. I am starting to worry a little bit. We have dominated this game since half-time. That isn't really much of a crumb of comfort. There's 25 minutes left here. Brandon Charles is on a 6.3. Trey George, on you come. Elsewhere, Falbo's not had a particularly good game. I'm going to bring in Tanner Jones in the final third. And you know what? The wingers can go on to attack as well. We are sticking them forward. We have not been good enough in this game. This is another concerning start to the season. Is anyone else getting deja vu? 10 minutes left. Right, let's change some things up just a little bit here. Play more direct, hit early crosses, pass it into space. Let's try and get in behind them. I know that's going to be difficult with how deep they are playing, but we've got to try and do something here. And concerningly, as the time continues to trickle away here, we are yet to score, and we've lost again. I say again, the last game felt like a loss. I don't want to say we've been very unlucky. They have had one shot in the entirety of the second half. I wish I could sit here and say, well, at least we've got a third game that should be easier to look forward to. But to be honest, Torquay, on the face of it, should look like a good little team. I say that. They are bottom now. If we lose to Torquay in this next game away from home, I am going to be concerned. Newly promoted Torquay, their prediction was 12th. At least we're ahead of them. But we really, really need to win this next one. I know it's away from home. I know it's not necessarily going to be easy, but this game was beyond disappointing. Goalless Charles worries Guernsey. He has not... 8 hours of football since Brandon Charles last scored. He got 43 goals last year. He was the reason we didn't win the playoffs, wasn't he? Didn't do anything. I don't want to say I'm losing patience with him, and you might remember I criticised his form at the end of last season. He was like, oh, no, my form's good. No, it's absolutely awful. You have to be better. I think I might drop him against Torquay, Anyway, that game against Torquay is 6 days away, so plenty of time for players to get some rest. Let's look at one positive. New signing Aidan Wilson has the best pass completion in the team. Yay. I'll see you in 6 days. So for this third game, we're actually going to Torquay, which I might be wrong. I think they geographically might be the closest team as the crow flies to us in our current league. Torquay is here. It's a coastal town. It's in terms of away days, it's about as close as we're ever going to get, I think it's safe to say. And if we just zoom in on Torquay here, and Torquay Football Club, which apparently you can book hotels using booking.com if you're ever planning your own Torquay away day. They really should be paying me for that kind of advertisement in this video. I mean, at least from satellite view, it looks like quite an interesting ground, but to be honest, whatever this building is here has caught my eye more. What is with this architecture? What building is this? Apparently it's the basketball club. I mean, I kind of want to go to the back. Can we visit the basketball club? We can't visit the basketball club. Now I'm sad. I mean, look at this. You've got the Plainmoor Community Swimming Pool with solar panels on the roof, and it's just next door to the stadium. Now, to be fair, York did have a water slide with their water park next to the stadium, but apparently it's been knocked down and it doesn't exist anymore. So maybe Torquay has something that York doesn't. As you can see here, we have the Plainmoor Stadium, and I mean, from the outside, it just looks like very typical football stadium, doesn't it? Very understated signage, but here we are, we've arrived in Torquay. And I'll tell you what, if you're an indoor bowls player, good news, the Torquay United Indoor Bowling Club, they do bowls in the stand, apparently. So in going around the outside of the stadium here, we can't see a great deal, to be fair. Fantastic wall, though, it has to be said. I do feel sorry for the residents here. If you're not a Torquay fan, Saturdays must be quite miserable here. I like the fact they've got barbed wire on top of the fence to stop anyone climbing over the top. Because, you know, people would sneak into the matches all the time, I'm sure. Oh, my word. Can we go up this little lane? No way. We can. I mean, it's not the most appealing of little lanes. I'm not sure what I was expecting when I went down here. Is this where they keep all the pitch maintenance stuff between games? We're seeing behind the scenes of Torquay. I don't feel like we're meant to be here. Is that the most fantastic garage you've ever seen? Like, that purple garage, that is style. Not many people are going to see it at the end of this lane. I appreciate the fact someone has painted it that colour. Torquay United have their own branded van. I mean, that's a bit big time, isn't it? And I mean, if we look here, right, there's a college, I think, the other side of this fence. But you see this innocuous little road just out in the blue. You don't notice the floodlights in the sky. If you just go through here, you're just into the football stadium right away. Look at this. This is nice. Can we go down here? Apparently, this is the away end. It's a shame the camera's not a smidge higher. Can we go down here? Oh my word, we can. Okay, judge the car park, everyone. Staff only. Solid staff car park, I reckon. Apparently, players and officials enter through this garage door here. I mean, we really are getting the full behind-the-scenes experience of Torquay. Not really seeing anything in the ground, but if anything, I think I've just enjoyed an adventure around the edge. I mean, this is quite cool, isn't it? Welcome to Plainmoor, and then they've got like a mosaic made up of loads of different tiles, and then Torquay United FC. How long do you reckon this took to make? I would not have the patience for this. Mosaic created by the pupils, teachers, and friends of St Mary's Church CE Primary School. There's no way that primary school kids could reach the top here. The parents and adults have done that bit. The kids have been left, haven't they, to fill in the blue. That's 100% what's happened. Wonderful artwork, Torquay. Unfortunately, we can't actually get a view of the pitch, but they've got a bowls club, they've got a swimming pool next door, and I've accidentally ended up back in the same alleyway as before. Get me out of here. Torquay United, unique away day. Appreciated the character. Lots of colour, lots of art, lots of facilities. I'm going to give them a 6.75 out of 10. That's right, we're now doing 0.75s and 0.25s because I said so. But as lovely as that Jack Does an away day was, I do really need a win in this game against Torquay. We are not off to the best start to the season. We're currently down in 16th. There's a few other teams that haven't won yet. I'm going to hope that we can win this game. In terms of team news, full strength team, just about. In fact, this is the team that started the first game of the season. This is a team that I want to believe is good enough. One change made, Brandon Charles. 8 hours without a goal. I've thrown him to the side. I don't want to play with him anymore. We're giving Trey George a chance to shine. We'll see how he gets on. I feel like Brandon Charles could still be a rather scary impact sub if needed. Okay, team submitted. If we don't win this game, it's going to really feel like last season all over again. I feel like once we get into some kind of form, once we find our groove, we are a good team. Obviously, the players that we've got this year, it's not different to last year. Maybe it's just a bit of rustiness. Maybe it is just down to the more difficult preseason games we're almost forced to play. Unfortunately, if I wanted to play teams local to us, which is actually French teams, I have to pay for them to come and play against us, and we would lose a lot of money doing that. So that's why I can't do the easier preseason friendlies. I want to believe it's just a confidence issue. I want to believe one win and we'll be fine. I should acknowledge, actually, that this game, I have already started with distribute to flanks on. I've not changed the other things, but you know what? I thought just do a little bit of change and see what happens. Perner's on a booking, Hanusek's on a booking. I don't trust either of those players. So the fact they've both picked up yellow cards is somewhat concerning. More concerning is the fact that Perner now has to do some defending. Chips it into Gibua. That is an awful piece of play. McGuinness has given away a penalty. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Imagine if we just won that first game of the season. Torquay score a penalty. It's 1-0. It's 1-0. I don't want to say it's a disastrous start to the season. It is head in hands start to the season, kind of standard. I mean, we've given away another penalty. I say another, I'm thinking back to the start of last year where we kind of shot ourselves in the foot. I feel like there's been less of that here. Maybe a tad unlucky in that first game of the season. Easy to say with hindsight that we shouldn't have gone time wasting and then I shouldn't have changed things back. But I didn't think it was a bad result in isolation, the 2-2. But having now lost to South Shields, I just feel like we need that first win to get a bit of confidence. We need a striker to get a couple of goals, to get firing. And then I think we'll be okay. But yeah, not a good start here. That said, look, we've got plenty of time to bounce back. It's only the 26th minute and Yor is in possession. Our Conte wins it back, but straight back to Torquay, regrettably. Tierney looking to go long. Wilson, new addition, hasn't looked out of place, to be fair, at defence. Taking down that ball. Yor heads it down to our Conte, who's going to play it forward to Yor again. George is in the middle. Maybe we found our goal scorer. Trey George, the centre attacking mid, who I've decided is a striker. He's going to follow in Brandon Charles' footsteps as a centre attacking mid that we convert into a goal scorer. It's his first start for the club. It's his first goal for the club. And there is a lot of relief in my celebration there. Ball played forward by our Conte. I thought for a second he might be offside, but he was definitely behind the ball. And we're all even. Throw in on the far side. McGuinness, who gave away the penalty, the man to, well, throw it straight to them, unfortunately. McGuinness has given away a few penalties in his time at right back, but he's the best of a bad bunch, I feel like, when it comes to the right back options that we possibly have to play. Anyway, ball's played forward towards Falbo, who, besides his penalty in that first game of the season, I don't really feel like I've said the name of him very much so far this episode on this near side. The Italian not having too much to do here. Westbrook trying to pick out a pass, in fact does pick out a pass. Really nice play by him. Torquay knocking the ball around with some confidence, but Gibua with it. Benjamin won his header. Hanusek now with the ball, playing it forward to George, who is looking to get in behind. Has got a goal, has got confidence, is bearing down. And oh my word, Trey George, welcome to Guernsey, my friend. He's got two in the space of just a matter of minutes. And that was a really good goal for this level. He shrugged off a tackle. When he picks up the ball here, you think he's got a lot left to do. He's got defenders swarming around him, but a burst of pace by the number 7. He cuts inside, opens up his body, slots it in. And that was a really good goal. Brandon Charles can never throw in on the far side. Maybe this time McGuinness can pick out his intended target. Yor takes the ball down, gives it back to McGuinness. He's going to play it forward, straight down the throat at the goalkeeper, who's going to collect. Torquay have looked very good with possession, so gifting them the ball like that is not really what we want to see. On this occasion, they're going to go long, and Benjamin has dealt with it well. Benjamin to Wilson. Wilson has 14 passing, by the way. I'm all for him trying to spread the ball wide. And Benjamin, to be fair, with his 12 passing as well. Both centre-backs for us have the capabilities to pick out a pass, just like Hanusek does, to be fair. Not on that occasion, but he did get an assist for the last goal. So let's not throw Hanusek completely under the bus just yet. Perner now trying to get it forward. Cleared away. Now they go long. It's from one end to the other. Iro with it. One-on-one. Scores, and Oliver Iro, we'll never know how to say his name. He's made it 2-2. It was a bit of ping pong back and forth, but then Westbrook played what was a really well-weighted pass through, and a burst of pace created the one-on-one, and similar, to be fair, to Trey George's finish, just a really, really good composed stroke into the bottom corner. Half-time here, 2-2. If there's one thing you can't accuse us of being this season so far, it's boring. Well, maybe the last game you could. This game, though, certainly not. I'm going to tell the players I'm happy. The goals are flowing. George and Yor look confident. I will say, when you look at things from a statistical point of view, maybe we are struggling a little bit in this game. Maybe this is the kind of game where I should actually look to just play it out from the back a little bit more and lower the tempo. You know what? Let's try being a little bit more relaxed in possession rather than just lumping it forward all the time. Free kick for us here. Falbo over it, whipping it back post. Yor is there, and I'll tell you what, that header was not far over. I'm going to make a change here. Our Conte's been poor. We're going to bring in Tanner Jones. Elsewhere, Hanusek on a booking scares me. Lewis Ferguson, let's try him out as the deep line playmaker and see what he can do for us. Don't really want to change things too radically here. It's been a pretty even game by all accounts. That said, Torquay maybe with a chance here. Not the best defensive header by McGuinness, and then, well, I think it was Benjamin with the first one. Defensively, we do not look composed in this game. They've still got the ball in a dangerous area as well. Cartwright to Field on this near side. The left back with some space to bring it forward. Lawson, Field has just scored an absolute banger. As if the left back's done that. I'm going to say it. Why can't Penner do that? Why can't my left back do that? Given some time and space, in off the underside of the crossbar. What a way for Torquay to take the lead. 20 minutes left. I don't want to change anything too radically just yet, but there is going to come a point rather soon in this game where we need to go on the offensive. We need to get a bit more attacking. It might come sooner rather than later if they get another here. Torquay with Cummings on the near side in a dangerous area. Ball played in. Perner collects and gives it to Ferguson, who needs to make sure he doesn't get caught in possession there. Bit of a heart-in-mouth moment. Torquay coming forward again. McGuinness gets it away. Falbo can't win his header, though. Cummings now with the ball, looking to find an inch of space to maybe get the ball into the box. Lays it instead to Westbrook, who strokes in. Bashir on the volley. And that is just a really good goal. Teams don't score goals like that against us based off last season, but Torquay have pulled out a couple of worldies today, it feels like. I mean, this one, they've had the ball for an extended period. They've knocked it around well. Cummings to Westbrook, given some time and space, and Bashir's finish on the volley is very, very good. It's 4-2. I have to change some stuff. So I decided to stick the wingers on attack and deep line playmaker onto support. We're going to go more direct outside of possession. I want us to get it to the playmaker. Let's try and get it to Hanusek when we can. And out of possession, we're going to press higher and harder. I want to force issues. I want to force errors. I want to try and catch Torquay out here. We've got 20 minutes to try and turn this around. It feels like a monumental task, but Boreham Wood did it against us, and I want to believe we're as good as Boreham Wood are. Torquay with the ball. Tierney playing it forward, but read well by McGuinness, who now has a chance to try and get the ball forward for us. That is not the ball that was needed, though. Cartwright now looking to switch the play. We are leaving space in behind. We are trying to, just press, try and force errors. It's going to leave us open. And Torquay have grabbed a fifth. If they score a sixth, I am going to be really, really sad. We've got a highlight. Can Falbo make something happen? At this point, I just want a silver lining. I want to see something that can give me some hope for the next game. Something to make me feel positive. Mandron, Yabu has given away a penalty. That's not what I meant. Lawson over it, hits it. McDonald's made a save. That makes me feel happy, kind of. Please just end the game now. I'm sick of suffering. 30 seconds left. Is there time for a late goal? It doesn't feel like it. I feel like I'm being shown a pointless highlight. As long as they don't score another, I want to say I suppose it's fine. It's not fine at all. I mean, it was 2-2 at the break. Naturally, when we've started to chase the game, we have conceded another, but the two goals before that, certainly the fourth goal for them was avoidable, and it was such a disappointing second half. Oh, I mean, I feel like I just need to have a talk with every player. I need to get the ability to do an angry team meeting. Where are we in the table after all of it? We're bottom. Look, let's not overreact. We have been here before. But when I look at the bank balance, when I look at the ability to potentially sell the Scott Williams clause, I am desperately thinking, I need to go professional. I do not know if I can make it out the National League unless that happens. I know people look at the transfer budget and wage budget and think, Jack, why don't you just spend some of that? I mean, the unfortunate reality is, with where we are right now, the pool of players I can actually sign is so small. Like, even if we just look at teams in our own division, there is 172 players across the 23 other teams who'd actually be interested in joining us. Like, the reality is that the only players I could realistically sign players from are the teams local to us, and many of these, half of them are just Torquay's youth players, I'm realising. Unless we go professional, the pool of players actually available to me is depressingly small. Just to put things in perspective, by the way, 172 players interested in joining us, 1,200 players actually, total in the league that we could sign. So, yeah, less than 10% of the players who play in our current division are interested in joining us. That is why it's hard to improve things right now. That said, you know what? I don't want to overreact and panic too much just yet. I feel like if we can get a couple of wins, get the momentum going, Football Manager is a game about morale. Morale simulator, we've all heard it before. Our next game is against Torquay, who are down in 21st. Aldershot after that in 23rd. They are games that if we win, we can really get the ball rolling. Beyond that, Oldham and Boston, two teams that started the season well, and then Chesterfield in second, which I'll be honest, at the current rate that we're playing, I almost feel like playing Chesterfield is redundant because I feel like they're in their own little league at the moment. I don't want this season to become another season stuck in the National League. Today's not been the best start to alleviate those concerns, but we have to remember, like a third of the league get in the playoffs. We have a chance to make it happen. We have quality in this team. We've got to get it firing. Don't be surprised if there's a few new signings before next time. If you have enjoyed today's video, do drop a like on it. If you've enjoyed my suffering, drop a like on it. At this point, just having a depressing start to the season, it feels like it's par for the course. Hopefully we can break that trend next season. I'll join you guys tomorrow for more parts Prem action to end the week. It's only up from here. I'll see you then.